Welcome to the Three-Headed Monster. It is my pleasure to introduce you to the person who got this entire group going. He just said to us one day, we could totally do this. And myself and Des were crying after a convention, said, no, we can't. Then he made us do it. It was wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, the first out of the Three-Headed Monster, my mate, the wonderful, the talented, the hysterical, Xander the Blue!
Oh, Mary dotes and dozy dotes and little lambs and ivy, and little kitty after two. Great, I already fucked it up. Oh, Mary dotes and dozy dotes and little lambs and ivy, a killy dive too, shouldn't you? Know if the words sound queer, it's funny in your ear, and if it sounds dazzled and divey, say Mary's eat oats and Mo's eat oats and little lambs eat ivy. Oh, Mary's dotes and dozy dotes and little lambs eat ivy. So Donald Trump reminds me specifically of a guy in a specific scene from Twin Peaks. Now, he walks in the door during a very serious meeting, starts singing, "Oh, Mary's and oats and oats and little lambs eat ivy." Those in the room look at each other and start dancing. And I do not have enough drugs, either currently or through my entire lifetime, to process the scene that I was viewing. And that's how I react to a Trump rally. Because a nice tough man is in a room and everyone's going along with it, but he's just saying gibberish and just bad advice. So like, it isn't really just like that, because, let's see. It says, a kid eats ivy too, shouldn't you? That's like the garbage disposal of the animal kingdom. I don't know why I'm getting diet advice from a fucking goat. And ivy, the only thing I know about ivy is the stuff on the wall at Wrigley Field and poison. So I just picture like him saying that and just people eating shovels of poison ivy in their mouth like, oh, this is gonna trigger the Dems. So anyway, that's my transition, by the way. Anyway, remember in The Wizard of Oz where the house lands on the old lady and the good witch, gets the shoes off the old lady and puts it on the pretty girl, like she's. Well, I'm scared. God's coming after me.
Somebody's dying.
Just like looting a corpse from Skyrim. That's what the tax bill is going to be like. Oh. I'm sorry. A dragon got up here and he started getting real. I'm sorry. So that's the end of the political segment of the show. Very sorry. We should go on to current events. You know why I like the B-52s? They're from the 80s. Anyway, what I love about the B-52s is the lead singer said, I could do this singing and carrying a tune and hitting certain notes, or I could just talk like a gay carnival barker. Step right up, it's the Fistorama! That's what I hear every time I hear a B-52 song. And a friend of mine was just like, could you see him in a furry situation? Oh, could I? I got me a bottom, he's as big as a whale, and he's about to lift his tail! I got me a twink and he can fit about 20, so hurry up and line behind this bunny. Anyway. It's my catchphrase. Oh boy. We went on vacation recently. Me, Alkali, and Miko. We went to California, to Napa Valley. The wine was a bit smoky, but it was very nice. This is good. And we went on many wine tastings, and the first one really set the tone because there's certain things they do. They ask you about yourself, and we said, oh, we were doing comedy for a local animal charity, which was technically true. And when the thing is, if you say you're a comedian, there's an expectation to be funny. And I'm off the fucking clock. So, I'm sorry. If you tell someone, oh, I'm an actor, you don't expect them to be dramatic. Like, oh, this wine reminds me of my mother we lost in the fire. That's how it works. The other thing that happens is jingle bells happen. No, it's okay. The other thing that happens is every bottle of wine that they give you a serving of has an origin story, like a fucking Marvel Comics character. And it's fun. It's just like, yes, this right here is a 1972 sad Spider-Man. It's a red blend of Cab and Merlot, and it'll make you think of your dead relatives. And the thing is, like, you go along with it too. You're like, yes, I can feel the power and responsibility. But anyway, what else I got here? I have no memory, so I'm going to go over these notes a lot. I'm sorry. So we asked the people there of our first tasting, like, oh, where should we go in town? They gave us a lot of great suggestions. And like, oh, you should go to, you might want to go to JCB. It's a little eclectic. And Alcala's like, oh, we're going there. Because like she's very nervous when she described it. Which is right across the street, down the line of when you're in Napa Valley. And we walk in the door, and it looks like a mix between a Twin Peaks fever dream and Pee-wee's Playhouse. There are mirrors nailed on the ceiling. You can look up JCB tasting area or whatever. And there's just like, Alkali was sitting in a giant cheetah chair. I was expecting him to come to life and give him a reach around or something like that. It was that bizarre, I'm sorry. So we're waiting there, and all of a sudden we hear whoosh, and there's 3 drinks lined up. Like, oh, great. And Miko's like, did you order a tasting yet? And we're like, no. Oh, this is wonderful. So later, we ordered the tasting, and along comes Jacques. Now, Jacques is the Frenchest man I've ever seen, and he was amazing. Like, he was the Willy Wonka of wine. You have to understand, he had amazing, he was felt, had an amazing suit, had a Hawaiian shirt underneath. I was on board already. I was like, hello, I am Jacques. We are going to get French tipsy. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. So he's just wonderful, and he's serving us all the drinks. And we're coming to the end of the tasting. Like, oh God, this is great. This guy's so fun. He's just, so great. And so we're waiting there for it to end and everything. And I was like, I have a very good Cabernet right here. The grapes are picked when the moon is full. That's exactly what he said. And I felt like, oh, it's werewolf wine. So we had some werewolf wine. Like, oh, what a great capper for the night. You know, we have to give him a big tip. This has been wonderful. And right here I have another bottle of wine. This one's the Jerry Lewis. You might enjoy it, but you will not appreciate it fully unless you are French. And so he gives us that, and we're like, the tasting ended, right? They're locking the doors. They closed. Miko's like, are they going to kill us? This is like the best version of Saw or Hostel I've ever heard of. Or maybe it's 7 redone and they found out about your drinking problem. Anyway.
You too.
Yeah. And so like, oh, this is great. You know, they closed up. They're just giving us a little bit more. We have to see if the guy wants to hang out anyway. So he comes over. I have another bottle for you. It is called the Cheetah because there are spots on the bottle and it will ruin your marriage. I don't even know what that means. So we're like, okay, yeah, we're doing this, and we drink one more. We're all fucked up, and it's like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Like, I don't think we can do any more tastings tonight. So he wanted to hang out later, and we tried to have him come with us. We should have gotten a picture with the guy, It's like, oh no, I cannot come with you. I'm sorry. I must have sex with a mermaid or something French like that. It was ridiculous. And that was the trip. It was fucking wonderful. And yeah, go to Napa Valley if you ever get a chance. Anyway. So, coming up with new material is always hard. The thing is, after doing this for a while, you get a hang of what works and what doesn't work. But you know, there's always that nagging feeling that you don't know what's gonna work. And I think a joke is really gonna hit and like, hey Xander, you're the same guy that burst out laughing in art class when the teacher said that a famous painter was accidentally hit by a train. Hear me out, okay? I could just see myself, I'm an artist, I could see me being that guy. Because you get in that weird zone where you're just thinking and you're just like, and you're not thinking about anything. You know how Sherlock goes to his mind palace? Well, at best I go to my brain shack. And that's where I think up all the jokes that might explode in my face. It's a lot like meth. Anyway. So yeah. The thing is, so I fucking forgot everything. It threw me off. It was weird.
It's like you were hit by a train.
Yeah. No, I'll just think thoughts like, I'll be just sitting there and be like, what came first, the pearl necklace or the pearl necklace? Like, was there a caveman like, oh, I'll make you pretty, and that was just it? And then they just figured out where like, oh, it works as jewelry too. She go to Jared. Anyway. The thing is, I've never came close to orgasm and just been like, let's get creative. Because you can't be accurate, like unless you're a cake decorator or something. Like, it just ends up looking like Jackson Pollock, just everywhere. Anyway.
That doesn't cure you.
So yeah, that's what I think about, and I'm like, oh, the sidewalk has steel beams. There's the train. That's what I could see happening to myself. So that's why it's so freaking fun to me. And not to mention, another reason I laughed. What was the last thing the famous painter did with his life? He painted the train. Ah! Fuck you, that's funny. So yeah, now who makes the drive out to AC or Indy FurCon or anything like that? Do you guys see billboards for Tom Raper RV? The balls it takes to name your business when your name is Tom Raper after what is probably one of the top places on the Family Feud that rapes happened. Even my version of the Family Feud, that's probably a terrible version. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, like, oh yeah, it just sounds like back alley Clue, like, or backwoods Clue, like, oh, I think the rape happened. I think it was Jethro in the Tom Raper RV with the candlestick. So, I'm getting so many groans, it's hilarious. Oh my god! It's coming out of this fuzzy dragon's mouth. No, I just, like, Tom Raper RV. It's like, yeah, we're Tom Raper RV. We're right next to the veterinary offices of Phil Dogfucker. We get behind your pets. So, yesterday, I've been in furry for quite a long time. I've been attending FurCon since 2003. I've done many things. But yesterday, I did the furriest thing I've ever done. At a FurCon, I signed up for unemployment. Yeah, that's a terrible way to say I lost my job. So I've done 3D animations and animations for a long time. I used to work on slot machines, and they were never really receptive to my ideas about slot machines. Like I would hear the cubicle over, like, oh, we need an idea for like sarcophagus of treasure. And I'm just like, Money Coffin! I play Money Coffin, are you kidding me? I've been at the frickin' casino on a Wednesday with the old people. They play fucking Money Coffin. Anyway. I've had many jobs over the years. My first job I had was I was a soccer ref for Pee Wee Soccer. And the thing about that is nobody knows how to play yet. It's just like a cloud of small kids and they're all kicking something. And it's weird, but if you squint, it just looks like an adorable hate crime. Someone getting jumped in the lollipop field? Okay, whatever. And I also worked at a video store. And that was before, you know, the robots took over with their red boxes. So I worked in the video store. Oh, what's going on?
Go to another microphone. This way.
1 down. 2 to go.
Yay.
Wait, is it
You're in trouble. That one's down.
Hey, no. How about that?
There we go. Try.
Yeah.
Try.
All right. There we go. They're working?
Hey.
Hey! Hey! Anyway. At the video store, my favorite was when people would rent from the porn department, and they would, what? Just a second. But they would always cover it up, and my favorite was like someone came to the counter, it was like Schindler's List, and it's on top of Titty Titty Gangbang, or something like that. And I know it was just to like cover their tracks, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, kinky. And you know, things and stuff, and things. Oh, there we go. So they had I Love the 80s recently for the IFC. And I Love the 80s, it just made me think about how, oh, is this still on? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I put it more in my mouth, it gets louder. Anyway. No, the thing just made me think of like in the 80s where the Russians were our enemies and we were on the edge of a nuclear apocalypse. It's fucking crazy, right? So, one of the things I loved about the 80s was, actually hated about the 80s, I'm turning that around. I hated that there was these kids movies that told everyone that like kids could beat adults with the power of martial arts. And I just wonder how many dead kids that was responsible for. It's like, yeah, that's awesome, Karate Kid's the best. And then, you know, Jimmy tries a jump kick and he gets blocked and into the candy van. And he's in a basement screaming, just like, 3 ninjas lied to me! Then I see him on a milk carton and I can't finish my Golden Grams.
Xander.
What? Yeah, okay, I got it. I'm gonna finish this off. Alright, yeah, see ya. So, well, we're not PG, right?
I know. No one cares.
Okay,
anyway.
good. So anyway. Gosh, damn it. Alright, so there was this, I'm gonna teach you a thing that you never want to have sex with the TV on in the background. Alright, listen. Me and Alkali, we have opposite schedules, and usually one of us is like, okay, shush. One of us is usually like half passed out, and then, you know, things happen. Like, if we haven't been together for 8 years, what happens would probably be illegal. This is the next morning, you're like, oh, you cool with what happened? Yeah, I'm cool. Okay, we're good. So, on one magical day, like, everything was fine, and we were both awake, and, oh, this is great, yeah. Go to bed early, and leave the TV on in the background. We start going at it, and if you don't followed me in FA and the logistics of that. We were fucking, and so yeah, he's going at me and everything, and on the TV in the background, he's not paying attention, and I hear, and that's when they made the show about the Holocaust. Like, oh God, please don't. I hope he doesn't notice, because I can't. I'm coming close to arrival, and I can't kill millions of jizz and hear about millions of Jews at the same time. But then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm part German and he's got the Jew-fro. This is kind of like real-time revenge happening. So this is kind of cool. So yeah, we finally get over the segment in the background, and I'm just like, oh God, it's over. And that's when I hear, and then next came Roots. Roots is about slavery. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm getting close, and the last thing I think before I come is, I'm sorry, Kunta Kinte. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you very much.
You're sleeping on the couch. With the TV off, please. I get lonely. Guys, let's hit it one more time for Xander the Blue. And before we go to our next act, I was sitting there, and one of you stole my hat. And it just came back with $164 in it.
Yeah.
You're all unbelievable. Guys, thank you so much. Let's hear it for the second head of the three-headed monster, ladies and gentlemen, the very funny, the chairman of IFC, ladies and gentlemen, Band Is there a microphone on the ground, Xander?
This is the one.
Dragon, rah, rah, rah.
You know, it still works. He just turned it off while he was using it.
What?
No, I'm holding it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all for responding to my summons to come here today. I have a matter of great importance that we need to discuss. It has come to my attention that our wonderful, polite neighbors to the north, Canada, are in fact trying to convert their entire population of children into furries. And I have collected evidence to support this claim. It is being done through one simple television program called the Polka Dot Door. Is there anyone here familiar with the Polka Dot Door? Are you Canadian? Proof! But a mere dropful. You need more than that. So, take a quick second, just very, very quickly, and close your eyes. Imagine a door. You're walking up to a house, an apartment, and there in front of you is a door. Now open your eyes. The door that you imagined. Raise your hand if it was not rectangular shaped. Like 4 of you. The majority of us imagined a rectangular door. That makes sense. That's how doors should be. But no, not the polka dot door. The polka dot door decided, you know what I'm going to be? I'm going to be shaped like the St. Louis Arch 8 Pandas. I'm going to be a big arch-shaped door. I'm going to be bright red, covered in yellow polka dots. I'm going to be the polka dot door. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a door sona. Before the show even starts, they are shoving a fursona in front of you, and I will prove it. I want to be a ferret. But not a normal ferret. I want to be bright red with yellow polka dots and a little top hat. That's right, I'm going to be the polka dot duke. persona, and we haven't even started the show yet. And you might be thinking, oh, okay, that's a bit of a stretch, Des, but, is that all you got? Oh, no. Because all we've seen is the door. We haven't even gotten to the theme song yet. Who wants to hear the theme song? The polka dot door, the polka dot door. Let's peep through the polka dot door with songs and stories and so much more. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. The polka dot door. Let's peep through? This is a children's show, and it is encouraging you to become a peeping Tom, and we know furries like their fetishes. There is a reason that Uncle Kage came up with, and I blatantly stole. There's a drop-down on FA for that. Because we like our fetishes. And they are shoving peeping Tomism, that's a new word, that's mine now, right in your faces, right at the beginning. And FA, for affinity. Arguably one of, if not the largest furry websites that there is, right? Furries from all over the planet go on for affinity. And what is for affinity when you think about it? Well, it's songs, it's stories, and when you turn off your safe for work filter, so much more. And I know you're thinking, okay, Des, you're doing well. You're coming close to proving your case, but I don't know. You haven't really gotten too much yet. I haven't even gotten through the door yet. We haven't even peeped through the door yet. So let's do that. What happens when you peep through the door? What is inside the polka dot house? Does anyone know? A house full of stuffed animals. Stuffed animals that live in the house. Humans show up every day and play with the toys. I'm not kidding. There are 4 toys in particular. And they are Bear, the bear-shaped gentleman, Marigold, the hot chick, and Humpty and Dumpty, the heavy-set gentleman with impeccable fashion sense. That's right, they are a fat gay couple. 1/3 of every furry household I know is this right here. Tell me it's not true for you too. They have other stuffed animals as well. There's Storytime Mouse. He lives in the clock. He's not a main character. He'll show up for like 2-3 episodes in a row and then he'll go away. It's like he shows up and it's like, oh, Storytime Mouse, time for a story. And then he won't show up. He's like that guy that shows up at every furry household Friday after school, doesn't bring a change of clothes, stays there all day until Sunday night, and then goes back to his family. There's so much furry going on, it's crazy. And you might be thinking, okay, you've got a fair bit of evidence so far. I don't think you've quite proven your case. If the jury were to deliberate, I think they'd have to say there's reasonable doubt. You haven't quite proven your case yet. The show has a fursuiter. I'm not kidding. The show has a green kangaroo, 7 feet tall, wearing a beige dress covered in polka dots, and his name is the Polkaroo. And if you look very, very closely at his massive head, followed by shaft-shaped body and the bulge around his hips, I think you can see what he is shaped like. They have a dick-shaped kangaroo fursuiter. This fursuiter comes out, and he doesn't use a squeaker like your typical fursuiter. It's like, squeak it. No. He comes out and he goes, Polkaroo! Polkaroo, Polkaroo! But they understand him. What's that, Polkaroo? Polkaroo! Jet fuel can't melt steel beams. I don't know what you mean. And it's great. And it's always the same thing. You've got the 2 humans on the show. And it's always the same. It's like the one guy and the one girl, well, hey, Janet, I think I should go get some more firewood for the fire we're building. Well, that sounds great, Steve. 1 minute later, Pokeroo, oh, the Pokeroo's here. And they interact for a few minutes. It's always the girl and the Pokeroo. And then the Pokeroo leaves, oh, no, Pokeroo. And the guy comes back, well, hey, Janet, I brought that firewood for the fire. Oh, you missed the Pokeroo? Oh, he was here again? Drat. It was him in the suit, and we know it. You might be thinking to yourself, that's actually a fair amount of evidence now. I kind of believe you. But you know what? You know what I think? I think they're just cashing in on the whole furry craze. I mean, think about it. You've got Zootopia and Sing and all these other anthropomorphic movies. They're just trying to cash grab. Who wouldn't want one of these wonderful stuffed animals for their children at Christmas? Who wouldn't want one of... Well, maybe they wouldn't. Maybe the adults would want the Pokeroo. What if I were to tell you this show actually ran from 1976 to 1989? Years before the fandom existed. But at the time that people who run the fandom now were children watching TV. This show is the basis for what created the fandom. And I know this because of something that happened earlier yesterday. It is my assumption that at some point a furry is going to travel back in time, amass a fortune with their future knowledge, and create a show about all of this to inspire the creation of the fandom that they were part of before they went back in time. A gentleman, or lady, who knows, probably a gentleman,
Doctor Who.
on his deathbed said, TV company, here is all my money. I want my toys to continue to be played with after I'm gone. I want my fursuit to continue to bring joy to millions of kids after I have left. Here is money, do this for me. And the reason I feel that this is true is because of a couple I ran into yesterday at the convention. Two people in their early 30s and their little 5-year-old kid. Super excited to be here at his first furry convention. With his very first badge hanging off his belt. A green kangaroo riding a polka dot skateboard. So if you see that couple and you see that kid, you be nice to him. In the future, / 40 years from now, he invents the furry fandom. Night, everyone.
Oh, sure, feel free.
So, I feel very bad because I received an introduction and Xander received an introduction, so of course, we need to introduce the individual who has inspired me for years. The one, the only, the top-hatted ferret, or at least he will be the top-hatted ferret once he gets his hat.
Fuck.
Well, change is dropping out of the Jew hat.
The Jew hat has finished pooping grammar.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your closer today, the one, the only, Alkaline!
So I almost feel bad. I almost feel bad. Legitimately, I do this a lot, and I still to this day hate microphones. It just makes me think I'm standing there. It's like, I remember my first MFF when I picked up a bad dragon toy. This is gonna get awkward for everyone at the wrong angle. Xander mentioned that he lost his job. He didn't mention to you how he told me, because he didn't. This is how I found out. Xander, where are you? I'm in the office. What are you doing? Porn? Looking at or making? Making. Why? Lost my job. Is this sustainable? About as sustainable as this erection. Who's it for? Kage. Seriously? He goes, well, I'm going to send it to him. He runs Anthrocon. He'll pay up for it not to go out. I appreciate living with him. Xander brings humor into my life. It's actually wonderful living with this crazed individual because we are both, you didn't notice by his sense of humor, he has a very dark sense of humor, and I love that. I love a dark sense of humor. We'll find ourselves sitting on the couch watching Bob's Burgers. And there's a lull in the comedy of the show. And he'll look at me, those loving eyes, and say, you know I'm going to die first. What? I was like, yeah, my chest kind of hurts. I'm pretty sure I'm having a heart attack, but I am way too tired to go to the hospital. Like, I weigh as much as a pig. I'm pretty sure I'm going to die first. He's like, bitch, please. What? I have a blood condition. You have Twinkies? So let me tell you the story about the depression Twinkies. Yeah, well, I told you, we're going into the vault. Some of these stories, I do apologize, guys. I am trying to remember these stories as I go. Some of these are from legitimately 5-6 years ago, and I have not told these in a long time. But I'll never forget depression Twinkies. Because I run First Square. First Square, the first year we were a budget convention. We got loans from a bunch of people as far as equipment. They gave us laptops. They gave us projectors. They gave us everything they could, and that's when I had to spend money. So, of course, I was already sad because I'm a Jew, and I hate opening my checkbook. By the way, youngins, a check is something you write on, and money disappears from your account. It's kind of like a debit card, but stupid. Well, I had to buy the soda where this gentleman over here built Fort Fructose in my office. He could have just stacked soda like a normal human being. But instead, I walked in to find a stack of soda with crenellations and every stuffed animal that we owned guarding the fort. As I walked into the office, he yelled, "You shall not pass." And on the top of the fort, because our theme was the end of the world, it was the end is just the beginning, year one of First Square, but we were really proud of that. The end is just the beginning. This was the year after the Mayan calendar ended. We thought this would be a great thing. And what survives the apocalypse? Okay, you didn't say it together, so instead of hearing cockroach, I heard cock. I guess the furry fandom is going to love the apocalypse. There's cock, and if there's enough fire, it's flaming. What survives the apocalypse is Twinkies. So we bought 30 boxes of Twinkies. And they became the center tower of Fort Fructose. Now, I have a weird form of obsessive-compulsive disorder. I have it whenever it suits me so that I can eat Twinkies and or pizza. Seriously, get this. It's really helpful and you get really fat. I was sitting at my computer thinking about running this convention, looking at the numbers. Now, I do deal with currency in my day-to-day life, and I am terrified. Like, I screwed this all up. oh my God, I don't think we have enough to cover it. And I couldn't physically reach them, but somehow they were in arm length. And I grabbed the box of Twinkies. I don't know how it... God, that makes the sadness better. The first one I ate in 3 bites. If you look at the bottom of a Twinkie, there are 3 injection spots on the bottom of a Twinkie. You're all aware of that. That's how they fill the Twinkie. Which means it is not a solid chamber of deliciousness in the middle. No, there are 3 bubbles of happy. 3 bites. Well, running a convention. Who else runs a convention who would survive the apocalypse? A cockroach. A scientist. It is time for science! So I jammed the next one into my mouth to experience all 3 pockets at the same time. Didn't quite work. Something came out of my mouth. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm also gay. Deep throated the 3rd one. Fourth one, I went into the kitchen, got my turkey injector. This is used to inject butter into a turkey. I see if it can work in reverse. I got some of the deliciousness out. Didn't taste good enough, so I just ate that Twinkie. Brought me to the 5th, 6th, and 7th Twinkie, which were different variations of making a sandwich out of them. It's the origin of the Pop-Tart sandwich. I don't recommend it. But you know that song? Have you ever put butter on a Pop-Tart? It's so freaking good.
So freaking good.
Yeah. 2 Pop-Tarts, 2 Twinkies, smash it, microwave for 30 seconds. Oh. This whole area of fat right here is that sandwich. Now, here's the non-joking part. I ate a box of Twinkies that night. I was sad. I went to bed, didn't sleep well. Apparently a sugar high is a thing. The next day, Xander and my buddy John, who were coming over to help me with the convention, go into the office to grab some of the paperwork. John yells, "What the hell?" Xander, "Fat fucker!" Well, I was sad! And from that moment forward, if they see me holding a Twinkie, John and Xander yell, "Alkali! Put down the depression Twinkie!" I haven't had Twinkies since. It makes me sad, which wants me to have Twinkies. Vicious circle. Vicious circle. Speaking of vicious circles, Xander has a cat. Xander has a... Do you notice that I did not say, we have a cat? No. Xander has a cat. This cat is a vicious circle. Because here's what happens. You feed the cat shits on my shit. You yell at the cat. You feel bad about yelling at the cat. We feed the fucking cat. Vicious circle. This cat knows that he cannot stand her being sad. And she has 2 things that bring her joy in life. Shitting on my clothes and eating. So at 5 in the morning, we hear the majestic call of her people. Now I need you to understand, what sound does a cat make? No! Not this little shit! He moved in with me and I got to hear this, and we are laying in bed one night, morning, tucked in, and I hear from the hallway, the queen is hungry and demands tribute. So every morning he wakes up and he feeds her because she is loud and scratches shit. Well, every once in a while he had to stay at work. He had to stay overnight at work. So he could not come home. And I am a stubborn motherfucker. But I forgot to close the door to my room. Now this cat, I had a dog. I have a beautiful red tick beagle. She is one of the most wonderful pups in the world. My dad has her right now. They keep each other company. And she used to come to my room all the time. My bedroom at my old house did not have a functioning lock because I masturbated too much and my parents were catching on. They're dicks. And when this dog would come to my room, you'd know it because you'd hear the gentle nuzzle against the door. Maybe a paw. I have arrived with love. It's not how the cat works. No! I have entered, motherfucker! Worship me! She kicks in the door. I've seen her do it to him. She doesn't go up to the door and push with one paw. She doesn't use her head. She rears up and then decides that gravity is awesome and just slams herself against the door. Because your cat is retarded. But she's still smarter than me, apparently. Because I said no in my mind. I am going to continue to lay here. And I laid in bed. And she has entered the room. No! Why are you not paying attention? No! You know I'm here. Now, a cat on a floor and a bed would gracefully pirouette even and land on the bed. She hoists her body and just bam to the side of the bed and then starts pulling covers down and she's falling like, I have missed, but I am stubborn too. Gets to the top of the bed where I'm assuming she is staring at me and goes, ah, it's the fat one. He knows where the good food is. I said, no, in my mind. And I laid there. And I did what any normal human being would do to a dumb animal. I pretended to be asleep, because that'll work.
Totally.
So I went. And she moved up to my leg. And I went. And she sat on my chest. I went. And I woke up with a pair of paws on my tongue. And a cat making eye contact with me. As if to say, your move, bitch. I need you to understand for the punchline that this story is, for the most part, genuinely true. Because I got out of bed and she followed me to the kitchen. I opened up a can of love, or as you guys would know it, Fancy Feast. I divided it into half, I put it on a paper plate, and I put it on the floor. And this son of a bitch walked up to it, sniffed, and peed a little, then walked out of the kitchen. And I realized she won. I had been outwitted by his retarded cat. So I figured furry was the next step. Oh good, we're still good on time. It's a weird, wonderful thing to be part of the furry fandom, but we're gonna jump back to my previous life before the furry fandom. When I used to run a LARP. For those of you who don't know what a LARP is a live-action role-playing game because I am that kind of a nerd. I love that you guys accept that. It is so much fun. We used to have so much fun. We'd go out to a campsite for a weekend. We'd exhaust ourselves fighting each other. We'd buy a few drinks afterwards. We'd go home, except for one weekend. See, this weekend was a Memorial Day weekend, which means it was a 3-day event. Day one, Thursday, I arrive at the campsite and immediately am told that I will be the only plot person on site. That means I was totally in charge of the story. I did not sleep Thursday night. Friday, I got basically going at 7 a.m. trying to get things moving, and I ran the event all through Friday, all through Saturday. And Saturday night at 11 p.m., I got a call from my home. They had been trying to reach me most of the weekend, telling me I needed to come home immediately. A 3.5-hour drive from Southern Illinois on 0 sleep for 3 days, while running around and beating the shit out of my friends. I was tired. So I told my friend who was there with me, hey, I need you to drive. We need to leave right now. He said, I can't, I'm tired, and fell asleep in the passenger seat. That's what our friends for. Vehicular manslaughter, apparently. So I started driving. Now, if you have ever been to Southern Illinois, allow me to describe to you what their highways look like. That is the end of the description. You don't even get signs on these highways. This is like that stereotypical next sign, 50 miles. Like, oh,
Yeah.
good. So I started driving. Cold, dark, middle of the night, on this 2-lane highway. And in front of me, I see a school bus. I don't like school buses. They contain STDs known as children. So, I am not going to be behind this school bus. It is time to pass it. I apply pressure from my right foot to the vehicle that I am in, at the same time that the school bus does. I apply more pressure. My foot stops moving because I have maxed out the pressure. The acceleratrix is on the floor, and I look at my speedometer to notice that I am keeping pace with a school bus going 110 to 120 miles an hour. And that school bus is still exactly as far in front of me as it was when this whole thing started. And I am now getting angry. I do not want to be behind a school bus, and I'm trying to figure out why the school's been going so... Have you ever had a moment of pure realization? Have you ever had a moment where it just clicked in your brain what is going on? It happens in school when you're taking a test, you realize the answer to a question. It happens in your job when you realize you're about to be fired and you're going to do porn and tell alkali from the other room. I had one. I had an epiphany. And I slowly and carefully slowed down my car and pulled off to the shoulder to wake up my friend. He was not happy. What's wrong? I need you to drive. I was like, why? You see the school bus in front of us? He says, no. I said, do you see the yellow line dividing the lanes? He said, yeah. I said, I thought that was a school bus for about 30 miles. Drive the fucking car. I'm not smart with sleep. I've always had trouble with that. I hope we can do this one. Yes, I have just enough time to do this one. Oh shit, I hope I remember this one. Give me a second to actually remember how this one goes. Okay, yeah. It's terrifying. I'm really bad with sleep. I have a lot of trouble staying asleep once I am asleep. I have a lot of trouble with things. And one night, there was an incident. This is back at Nero. We didn't have beds at Nero. We have what I would call human shelving units. The way we built these was the concept of a bunk bed if you fucked another bed into it. The first bunk is directly on the floor, 2x4 height. The next bunk is right about here. The third bunk is here, and the ceiling is about, like, there. Skinny people on top. And on the other side of the room, because I had brought it from my dorm, we had a twin bed for Tim and Hannah, the married couple, so that they could sleep together. So it was myself on the bottom bunk, my friend John, Beardo the Magnificent from First Square in the middle bunk, and a friend of mine called PHB. We called him PHB because he was a half albino. It stood for pale-haired bastard. He was a skinny little shit, so he got the top bunk. We had been running Nero. We had been playing the game. making the story, fighting our friends for 15 hours straight. 2 minutes? Thank you. And at that point, we finally all went to bed. Myself, John, PHB, Tim and Hannah over on the other side. And Tim started to strip. Like, what do you do? He's like, it's really warm. I don't care. We're all friends. Like, all right, valid point. I understand. We're all too tired to deal with this. We all lay down. We close our eyes. I feel sleep washing over me like a comforting wave. And then Godzilla attacked me. Now, it wasn't actually Godzilla. It was what is known as a June bug. June bugs are about this big. Now, when you are falling asleep, anything feels like Godzilla. And all of a sudden, June bug. I was nearly asleep. What does a rational, sane person do when Godzilla attacks?
Scream.
You sit up. I shot up in my bed. Now you have to bear in mind, these human shelving units are 2x4s with plywood on top and a small mattress on top of that. So I sat up and slammed my head into a 2x4. The sound in the dead silent room startled John, who sat up and slammed his head into a 2x4. That sound caused Tim and Hannah looking over her nude husband to see what was going on, questioning us, to PHB, leaning over the bed in his sleep-addled state, falling out of the bed. So now, what I am experiencing is Godzilla, pain, shotgun blast, raining albinos. I am obviously in danger. I need to get out of this bed. Something has to happen. Now, if you haven't seen me, allow me to introduce you to my center of gravity. It's nowhere on me. My bed is a fucking half a foot off the ground. So I went to get out of the bed. I start to crawl out of it. I am losing my balance. I lean forward and went face first into Tim's asshole. Tim starts yelling, "What the hell is going on?" John screams from his bunk, "Dan is in danger! Burrow into Tim's asshole, Dan! Burrow, Dan, burrow!" You make friends very easily in a stressful situation. And guys, I always want you to remember one thing. If ever you find yourself in a situation you don't know what to do, if ever you find the stress too much, find the nearest asshole. We're furries, that's a safe place. Guys, come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Xander the Blue, and that's Arnold, the all the three-headed monster. Thank you very much, and good night. In here right now is the Dragon Show Live, which is apparently us again.